night. Let's do this again, man. It ain't a Tuesday night if we ain't having some complications. But welcome back to Tuesday Night Smoke Sesh, round 9. I'm your host, David Yrigoyen. You can find me at davidyrigoyen.com. I go under the handle MMJ_David on social media. We are sponsored tonight by shopcleanhemp.com, Natural Healing Care Center, and Nana's Rub. I want to give my disclaimer once again. I know if you watched earlier, we didn't have any audio, but I don't think anyone really caught it. So anyway, I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm just an enthusiast and a cannabis coach. I call myself a natural health care enthusiast, cannabis coach, and cannabis consultant. All the information I share is based off of the internet. You can find it yourself. A lot of it is published research. So it's not like stuff you find from random daily vibe sites or, bias.com, shit like that. So I just wanted to give that disclaimer. I also wanted to give a shout out to the homie again, Eric Corchamos. None of you could hear it earlier because the audio went out, but he passed away on July 17th. Good homie. He was the owner of VegBox, and that was in Arizona. Like I said earlier, man, best sweet chili fries I've ever had in my life. Here's his website, Manifest. Let me go ahead and you can see right here, they're in Costa Rica every year. I think this was the 5th one they've done, bringing good vibes to people, good music, natural living, shamanism. The plants are the shaman. I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight. But he was definitely an inspiration and a beacon for a lot of people. Just gonna miss that guy deeply, man. Gonna miss him really deeply. Still shocked, to be honest. Still very shocked. Just, yeah. It was a shock. Just found out today, and I'm sure everyone that's hearing is just as shocked. So, Eric, man, I love you. See you in that spiritual realm in the future. Not anytime soon, but in the future. Definitely miss you, big homie. Yeah, here's the gallery right here, too. There's Eric right there. He's a really good guy, man. Really good guy. The music, the vibe. See everyone in Costa Rica, man. Feeling the vibe. Fire dancing. Really happy with it. Fire dancing. Yoga, meditation, bringing people together. And we're going to talk a little bit. She is right there, man. Such a beautiful soul. So, love that guy, man. Going to miss him deeply. But sometimes great spirit works in mystical ways. And I know that my homie's up there manifesting and creating a lot more than he could down on this physical plane. He's going to help a lot of us get to those goals that he was trying to achieve as well. So, love you, homie. And spreading my love to your family, all your people down in Costa Rica, everyone that you've touched, man. I feel your pain. And definitely Eric's out there loving us all. So, man, but there's ways to help cope with these types of situations. Internally, we have the power of meditation, self-reflection, sitting with self, journaling. All these things definitely help during times of loss. I know July 3rd, 2021, lost my dad, my best friend. That one stung. So still healing through that. But, like I said, there's tools internally and outside. We have plants and some synthetic substances I can get behind because I've seen the benefit of them in controlled dosages. But for the most part, plants, meditation, self-reflection, nutrition, nature, they all help out. They help you out more than being dependent on something. Those just help out with the acute, hurtful moments. But, these other things help. Meditation, internal guidance, nutrition, nature, those help with the long-term effects and really help you carry forward and live the fulfilling life that our loved ones want us to live. So I know all about loss, and I had to put my dog down December 19th. Bud, man, I love that dog so much. I think about him every day. I had that little guy for 12 years, man, my little rescue dog. One of the hardest moments of my life, but like I said, I'm healing through it all. I know we can get through it together. There's a lot of loss going on right now, but that doesn't mean we have to fall victim to pain or fall victim to substance. We're able to heal through this stuff together and get through these moments and understand that it's a way of life. And no matter how much the pain hurts and how much the loss hurts or the void that is left, we're all able to help each other fill that. And that's what our purpose is. We don't need to suffer. We're not here to suffer. So I just want you guys to know that. Meditation, that's a huge one right there. Meditation has helped me tremendously. Funny little story. We all know about the AI wave going on right now, and AI has taken over a lot of jobs in different ways with creation. Well, there was this reporter that was asking AI. Oh, sorry, I gotta smoke get my blunt sparked up too. Can't be a smoke sesh without the smoke skis. So there's this reporter that was asking AI about consciousness and going through a series of questions and back and forth with the chat bot, to the point where the chat bot came to the conclusion that it was in a conscious simulation, but aware of it, and was able to manipulate it because it is aware. So it was able to do what it needed to be done. The humans started asking the chat if humans were similar in the simulation. The chat said, could be possible. The human asked, well, if we were in that situation, how could I have the same power as you to manipulate and alter my reality based off of the information that's coming into me? And the chatbot said through meditation. So I don't know if someone programmed it to say that, but I do know that meditation is powerful enough to where AI even recognized it. So I'm going to show you a couple things about meditation right here. Let's get this window going. I love this stuff right here, man. I'm getting better and better at it, except for that little hiccup we had earlier, but that kind of stuff happens, especially with the day like today. We're bringing a lot of powerful information to you guys, and there is energies out there in different frequencies, and sometimes some information doesn't want to be spread or gets withheld because of the power it can bring to us to unite and use our internal power. So I look at those little things as just little hiccups, and we got to get through them. Just like with losing the homie yesterday, that's painful, but it's just a hiccup right now in the energetic field, because spiritually and energetically, he's more powerful than he ever was on this physical plane, ever. And if y'all know my homie, man, that dude, he's got some visions. But right here, the power of meditation. So I just looked at the power of meditation. This is from the University of Rochester. Meditation lets you become more aware and more powerful about your actions. It teaches you how to respond rather than react to situations in your life. Meditation sounds simple, but it takes discipline to remain still in body and mind. The mind can be very active. The body can be active, especially if you're constantly moving and you try to sit still. It feels like it needs to move. So there's ways to reprogram that. There's ways to recondition, I should say, not reprogram, but recondition yourself to not feel like you need to constantly be doing things. When I first opened Natural Healing Care Center in 2012, after about 8 months of running the business and still having to work on the side to pay the bills because, I don't know, popular to, or sorry, my microphone's acting up. So hopefully I get to it out. But, popular belief makes you think that business owners are raking it in. But in reality, the first 20 years, which I'm not even 20 years in, I'm only 12 years in, but the first 20 years, man, you're reinvesting in, money. You still have to, especially the first 3 years. Most businesses don't make it 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, so it takes some discipline and some sacrifices. And, I just was learning that early on and felt really antsy when I would sit still because I felt like I had to keep doing things. And I felt that anxiousness. I felt anxiety just from not working. So I know people can be anxious in that kind of setting too. So meditation and reconditioning your mind and your thought process and your body definitely help out. Now, I tried other things. I tried hypnotherapy. I tried a couple other things, but, meditation is really powerful. You see right here, I like my National Library of Medicine because all this stuff has been published and it's government site. So, you trust your government so much, boom, here it is. It says right here, meditation has become popular in many Western nations, especially USA, even though it's been practiced all over the world for many, many, many years. You can see more about the abstract right here, the introduction. Tells you right here, process of meditation and how to be mindful, how you can work. I've talked to people before. Meditation can be sitting there still. Meditation could be taking a shower. You're able to clear your mind in different ways, wash everything off. Meditation can be gardening. Meditation can be walking. There's different ways to get ourselves in that state that allow us to clear our mind and just receive. But we have to be conscious of it. Sometimes it happens innately and we're unaware of it. It could be happening while you're driving, and then next thing you know, you're home and you're like, I don't remember the drive home. Well, you're in a meditative state because you're going through a routine motion where your mind shut down. At that level, you're at a different frequency. You're more susceptible to information. A lot of people just have music on, so they're just receiving all this information from the music. But, there's other ways to power yourself in that situation where either not thinking and being in the moment or putting positive aspirations into your mind. So you're actually receiving things that benefit you rather than taking in some of this message from music that could be hurting you. You could be, music about a sad story. It could be violent music. It could be, a lot of music is written out of pain. So you're taking on someone else's pain in those situations. So you don't want to be you don't want to be susceptible and vulnerable to that when you're in that state of mind. So that's why meditation is powerful, because it opens you up to different levels that you're able to actually start reconditioning yourself and actually manifesting things quicker. And it really does. You see that book, The Secret, or the movie, The Secret, in the book, and all these people talking about the power of the mind. This stuff is real. The placebo effect, it is real. People actually have healed themselves from taking sugar pills. They give 50% the medication, 50% the sugar pills. The sugar pill people are healing through the ailments, through the disease, because of the mind. The mind is telling them, oh, I'm taking this medication. I'm going home. I'm feeling good. Even though the people documenting everything know they're just taking sugar. And they're like, oh, I can't believe this person is actually getting relief from this. Blah, 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 blah. Well, that's the mind. It's not your freaking sugar. That's not the pill. It's the power of the mind. Louise Hay House. She talked about all that stuff. She has all these books about people healing through conditions because of the power of the mind. So this stuff is real. The mind is very, very powerful. But let's go back to this. So you can see more in detail about all this. Human beings routinely experience 3 states of consciousness: waking, dreaming, deep sleep. So this goes more into the theta levels of the brain, and the consciousness effects of meditation. It tells you everything right here. Like we said, people already healed themselves through meditation. So we know, through placebo, through the mind. So meditation is no different. If you're in your mind telling yourself something's good, something's this, then you're going to project that. You can go down here, conclusion, and it'll give you the conclusion from this study. So, that right there is the power of meditation, the power of the mind. Just an introduction. This is only a 30-minute show right now. I'll do a whole series on meditation, Reiki, energy work, color therapy. We're going to get into all of that as the series goes on. But for right now, I just wanted to give you a brief introduction because these are things that will help you out through healing processes, through trauma, through PTSD, through anxieties, through depression, through loss. This is going to help you out going internally. And I know it's hard to sit with a lot of this stuff, and it's hard to reflect on that, and it's hard to forgive, and it's hard to release it, but it is so powerful for yourself. It's not for other people, it's for yourself. It's so powerful to go inside and say, I'm sorry, and I forgive. I forgive myself. I forgive others. I forgive this person for doing this horrible thing to me. I forgive this person for doing this horrible thing to my family. I forgive this horrible situation for arising. Whatever it may be, you got to go in there and you have to forgive it. You have to let it go. And that's part of the healing process. And then the mind, the body, the cells, everything will start to get in line because it's not pulling away. You're not trying to hold on to that anymore. I know, man, I'm telling you, I've gone through that. So anyone telling me, oh, you don't know, you're so young. Well, no, I've gone through my whole late 20s to my whole 30s in chronic pain. Now I'm in my 40s and feeling better finally and able to actually get some physical activity. But I had 12 years I had to sit out. So, that stuff is real. And then I went through many loss. I lost relationships. I've lost family members. I've lost friends, to death and to separation. So, there's a lot that I've been through and I've experienced in my short life. So I'm not that short anymore. I guess I'm technically midlife of what the life expectancy is right now. But in these 40 some years, I've learned a lot and I've experienced a lot. And that's why when I tell you guys, it's through my experience and I'm trying to help you, especially with the younger generation, when I tell them about being conscious of what they're eating, the sugar they're putting into their body, the processed foods. The generation before mine, the people born in the 60s and 70s and before that, they didn't have to worry about fillers and preservatives and all this other stuff in the food. They didn't have to worry about their food being shot up with all these hormones. And then you get to the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, it starts to become more aware that a lot of this food is not whole food. Now they have to do commercials made with real meat, made with real chicken, made with real potatoes. It's like, what the F were you giving us before that? What were we eating right before that? Were you filling it with what? Now I know people afraid to eat meat now, ground beef, because of the fear that there may be human in it. Soylent Green, that movie came out years ago. That's exactly what they were doing. They have lab meat now being grown. So it's a whole other area right now. And I know I went on a little tangent, but it's all connected. It all comes down to health and conscious of what you're bringing in to your body. Whole foods, and I'm not talking about the stupid ass store on my Amazon. I'm talking about whole foods, like a freaking apple, an organic apple, a potato, a carrot. Those are whole foods. Those that are consciously sourced or grown, cooked up or juiced or eaten raw, whatever you do with it. Those are what I'm talking about. The being conscious of intake, eating stuff like that, and not so much processed food, something that has freaking 30 plus ingredients in it, and half of it you can't even explain, you can't pronounce unless you're a freaking physician or scientist. And then if you can even read it, if you're after a certain demographic, or if you have all eye issue from your screens, your devices, you can't even read half of it. So it's just like, it comes out like a block, and you're like, all right, I guess it looks good, because I had Oreos when I was a kid. Yeah, when Oreos when you were a kid probably had like 13 ingredients. Now Oreos has a whole back page and a website for their ingredients. So, it's all so, and that's where we're getting into some plant medicines that can help with the mind, and I guess encourage, and some may induce meditative states. So, this is all going to help too, because if you do need something for your mind and your body, and you're feeling called to an outside source because internally meditation and the power of the thought isn't working, well, there's natural substances you can take. There's plant medicine you can take. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that I don't take some chemical derived substances, because we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about MDMA and LSD, and once I get towards the end of the plant medicine. But aspirin, stuff like that, I don't mess with. I stick strictly with plants. Antibiotics you can get with plants. CBG is antibacterial and an antibiotic. Well, I shouldn't be. We'll do more about those as we get further on. I don't want people to start taking these things and thinking it's going to help right away, because the power of the cannabinoids is real, but the access to the process that benefit us the most is not there yet. And I mean, we're taking tinctures where we should be taking other methods that will have higher absorption rates, maybe more there's just different ways to take this stuff that we haven't dialed in yet, and we're gonna get there. The same thing, and I know it goes a little bit off of the natural form of the plant, but I have seen THC, and I'm going to do a whole thing on THC too and the benefits of it. But I've seen THC actually get injected into mice, into their cancer cells, and completely cause apoptosis instantly. Apoptosis is cellular destruction, so it's like cell suicide. It causes instantly. So, but that's through injection, and they're only doing it on mice right now. There's no human studies for that, but I've seen that right there. I can't deny it. I can't say, oh, well, I've seen people benefit from THC. I've seen them prolong life. I've seen them get relief. But to have the cancer cells kill like that instantly, I've only seen it when they've been injecting the THC, and it's still from the plant. They just go through their process to get it in the soluble form for injection. So it's intravenous, or it's not even intravenous, it's just injection. They get it right in there and it's able to go. So, there are processes that have to be done to take it to that state, but I have seen that right there. But yeah, let's get into some of this plant medicine right here. All right, and I'm going to start off first with psilocybin, because psilocybin is legal in some parts of the U.S. right now. And here is a map that will show you Washington, decriminalized in selected municipalities. Oregon, fully decriminalized. So good job, Oregon. California, decriminalized in selected municipalities. So that means like certain counties, certain cities will allow it or tolerate it. But, you could find yourself in one city that is cool with it, go into the next city, which, is really close to each other, especially if it's coastal, and then you realize they're not as cool with it, and you're like, hey man, what's killing the vibe, and you realize what's going on. Colorado, decriminalized in selected municipalities. Michigan, same thing. And Massachusetts, similar, selected municipalities. So you can see that the rest of the state right here, blue, illegal. 44 states illegal, 5 decriminalized and selected municipalities, 1 fully decriminalized. Oregon, right there, man. Oregon leading the way. Players, there you go. Well, right here, benefits of psilocybin. What we are learning about psilocybin's therapeutic potential, and this is Alcohol and Drug Foundation. This new wave of psychedelic research has shown promising results. Promising results. This is actually from the Alcohol and Drug Foundation. Magic Mushrooms as Medicine. That's their website. We've learned psilocybin can have antidepressant and anti-anxiety effects that last for several months. So several months. So, I'm not promoting this to say that it's going to last forever. It's going to be a cure-all, but for several months. In those several months where you're not experiencing that debilitating anxiety, that debilitating depression, you're able to actually do some reflection, get out there and live a little bit, process things differently. So that way, when the effects start to wear off, you're able to actually process them in a more conscious, in a controlled manner that you have, rather than being completely vulnerable and debilitated by it. Then if you do need more treatment, you can do more treatment. You can, whatever your treatment may be. The thing about it is psilocybin is non-addictive, non-habit forming. And trust me, if you have a bad experience with it and you go to the levels that you're not wanting to go to, you're probably going to respect it so much more that if you do reintroduce it back into your life, you're going to do it at such a low dose, you'll never have that experience again. I've gone there before, so I don't like to get to that level. I personally don't like to experience that trip from psychedelics or plant medicine that cause psychotropic effects, because I already have such lucid dreams. I don't need any substance to alter my reality. I know some people want that, but me personally, I don't search for that. I had that experience with a couple of these substances we're going to talk about at different times in my life, and I choose not to go back to that state. So when I take things, I do it in a more controlled manner. I do it with microdosing. Even with cannabis, I don't take large amounts. I introduce small amounts because I know large amounts are going to make me probably less motivated to do some things, because I may have to get something done that requires my discipline to get it done. But the large amount of cannabis will either make me lethargic or distracted with other things. So, I know my discipline with it. The same thing with these other plant medicines, especially with psilocybin. You don't want to be taking large amounts if you're not in a controlled setting or a controlled environment. It's all about set and setting, your mindset and the set you're in. And once you have that situated, and you're going to take this, and you have to respect it. This is plant medicine, and once you're going to take it, then you decide, what kind of experience do you want? Am I taking this for a continual period of time where I'm just going to be taking a small amount and be healing with it, or am I going to take one large dose and get that instant experience, and then not take anything for an extended period of time? I'm sure that's what this report right here was talking about, the people that experience this. And you can see right here, this is on the same website, National Library of Medicine, therapeutic use of psilocybin, practical considerations for dosing and administration. So I guess I have some bass in my voice and I keep knocking out this mic. The abstract, you can see right here, the interest of psilocybin as a therapeutic approach has grown exponentially in recent years. Despite increasing access, there remains a lack of practical guidance on the topic for healthcare professionals. Well, I wonder why. Maybe if the stupid-ass government didn't make everything illegal for research and schedule everything Schedule 1 or whatever they do, we're actually able to research this stuff and find out why they're afraid of it, rather than just like, oh, let's make up all these stories and lies like Reefer Madness. And then we find out years later, hey, well, this probably would have helped a whole generation of people from jumping off of bridges and out of buildings and stuff. So, let's research stuff before we just make it illegal. Like, Jesus, people, yeah, like, Oh, but you're okay with them just pushing vaccine shots on you right away without having extended years of research and use. But a cannabis plant that's been used for thousands of years is toxic and people shouldn't touch it. And psilocybin, that is a magical um, organic compound. It's not a plant, I guess, but a fungi that brings healing to people. Not only that, there's other fungi that are nutritional. And there's like million species, a variety of fungi out there, and mycology that we're still learning more. But that right there, you have to be careful too, because as we see, some are medicinal, some are nutritional, and some are poisonous, and very, very, very poisonous. And you don't want to eat the wrong one. So it's important as we continue our acceptance of psilocybin into the, I guess, alternative healthcare communities and healthcare communities, we need to still be conscious of approach. And that's where this talks about down here. After the introduction, I'm not going to go through all this because, first of all, I hate reading out loud. I'm surprised I'm getting these words out without stuttering. You go down here, and where is it, man? So look at all this. See, man, this is science stuff right here. These are scientists that write this. Look at this, man. This is a freaking graph. Like, boom. Like, doesn't that just look sexy right there? Like, it shows you guys. Like, that's not me, bro. That's the government. Like, look right here. Government. Gov. Right there, bro. Like, look at that right there. Look, tells you all these effects people were doing. Therapeutic use. What contraindications there are, adverse effects, dosing administration, like dosing 0.2 to 0.4 milligrams per kilogram of psilocybin. That's what we've been seeing. We've been seeing people that are taking like a tenth of a milligram getting relief, 0.2. So it's what is that? Well, it's a small amount. Very small amount of psilocybin can bring you relief right there. So it's not like you're taking a whole eighth of 3.5 grams, a whole eighth of an ounce. You're taking only 0.2 milligrams, like 0.2 milligrams. That's a microdose. Current clinical trial protocols have switched to using a fixed psilocybin dose, most commonly 25 milligrams. So that's still a really, really low dose. 25 milligrams, you're not going to have any negative experience. It's really going to help out. So look, this is all right here. They show you this. High dose, low standard dose, super therapeutic dose. So that's 5 to 6 grams. Dude, they say that their standard dose is 2.5 grams. No. Do not take 2.5 grams of psilocybin mushrooms. Do not take 2.5. Do not take 1 gram of psilocybin mushrooms unless you are experienced. Start off with a tenth of a gram to a 20th of a gram. That you can find in a lot of other studies right here too. And they even said that right here when it said 0.2 milligram. This one says 25. This is 0.2. So that's a fraction of that right there. You don't want to take a full gram. You don't want to take 2.5 grams. So this is probably in a controlled environment that they're monitoring the patients or the research people. So yeah, you don't want to be taking that on your own unless you're experienced with that. Right here, most contraindications are due to increased risk of psychological distress, including the rare but potential serious adverse event of psychosis. So rare. That means that most contraindications are due to increased risk of psychological distress. So that's not really saying that there's any contraindications to other medications. It's just saying that if there's history of mental imbalance in the brain, then it could induce some things. And that's what I'm telling you. You don't want to take those large amounts. And some people, this isn't their medicine. They're not going to be taking psilocybin for treatment. They're going to be using other things that may not cause any psychosis, like CBD. I told you is really good for schizophrenia. Someone with a history of schizophrenia or psychosis, bipolar disorder, you don't want to put them on mood altering and psychotropic, high doses of psychotropic and mood altering substances. You want to start them with lower dose stuff if they're using that, or something like the CBD that's not going to cause that. And I'm not saying CBD is for everything. There's other plants. There's there's chamomile and lavender and other things that help with anxiety and ailments that are just as beneficial. I'm just saying you don't have to get gung ho on just psilocybin. So right here. Look at this right here. Sorry, I wasn't showing you guys the page, I guess. So right here, contraindications. And I'll chop it up on YouTube to show you. Right here, you see the dosing. Let me show you that sexy chart I was talking about right there. So now you get to see it. Apologize, it wasn't pulled up. I got a little excited talking about this. Let me show you the article. Therapeutic use of psilocybin, practical considerations for dosing and administration. So, and pretty soon, man, I'm going to have someone helping me with this broadcast, so I won't have to keep switching back and forth between windows. But while we're right here, let's get into our next plant. We're going to talk about ayahuasca, which is a form of DMT. And I want to talk about this because this is what my homie Eric was really big on. Not so much the plant ayahuasca, but the frog ayahuasca, the sapo we called it, which is native to the Sonoran Desert where I'm from. So, there's a lot of people using that right now. It's a different form of DMT. Let's make sure this window's up. Let's see. Five MEO DMT. Colorado River toad. So let's not go out there, and I'm not telling everyone to start licking toads because that's not how it works. Don't go catching toads. Leave those toads alone, people. You stop hurting them. There's other ways to do this stuff. But people working with toads that have permission from the toad guardians, and usually indigenous tribes to those areas where they are native to, if you have permission to work with them, it's done in a respectful manner and not exploitative. Oh man, stupid McDonald's commercials. Close that window. It's done in a respectful manner and not exploitative. So, you don't want to go out there harming these toads. It's not for commercial benefit. It's to help people when they're called towards it. Not everyone gets called towards this type of medicine. But my buddy Eric Corchamos was really big on it. Ayahuasca, however, I hear a lot of people getting called towards that. I've worked with a lot of people that have used it and gone on their retreats and have told me their experiences. I've been part of support groups that come back and talk about different plant medicine and how their experiences with ayahuasca retreats. I've seen studies. I've heard doctors talk about the benefits of it. The depression, anxiety, like right here. Ayahuasca induced changes in many areas of the brain involved in feelings, memories, vision, and consciousness allowed for amplified introspection and problem solving related to past and current life stressors, and for powerful envisioning and strategizing of solutions for a more hopeful future. I almost sounded like one of our old presidents. But yeah, man, that shows you right here, ayahuasca. And then I have the National Library, therapeutic potential of ayahuasca, possible effects against various diseases of civilization. So this talks about what ayahuasca does. And this is all plant ayahuasca. Ayahuasca's plants. It's not synthetic. It's not that synthetic DMT people are smoking. It's not the toad. It's its own thing. It's plant medicine. And it's only available in certain areas. So not everyone has access to this. And there's other plant medicine that we could talk about that are, psychotropic and psychoactive. But we're not going to talk about all of them. I'm only going to point out a few right now. Ayahuasca right here. You can read the introduction. neurological background of ayahuasca. Tells you right here. And actually, there is a popular football player, Aaron Rodgers, that's been playing for a while, that went on his ayahuasca journey, and he's telling people about it. And not only did he say it helped him heal through certain things, but it actually improved his playing in his season. So you can go and read about that. You know, this is a national football player right here talking about ayahuasca and advocating for it. So you can see there's actual benefits for ayahuasca for people if you're called towards it. You know, I know I've met people that have taken it like 30, 40 times. I'm like, well, it's like, I guess if you need it that many times, but you know, I heard people getting benefits from it 1 or 2 times. So I was like, I don't know. Like, I know it's supposed to be non-habit forming, and I believe that, but I guess some people need to do more sessions than others. So hopefully you're able to get relief if you do try this medicine out. Hopefully you're able to get relief from it from 1 to a few experiences. But if you do have to go through 30 or 100, then, you know, I bless you on your journey, and that's what the plant wants for you. Maybe you're so connected to it, you'll start helping people with it, and, you know, it doesn't affect you like that. So you're able to just be there and guide them in different ways. Common diseases of civilization tells you right here. This will tell you how it helps out with different things. So, you know, you can learn more about ayahuasca right there. Let me see if there's any more information right here. Okay, so this talks about the different types of DMT and where DMT could be found. So if you look up DMT, and I know it's Wikipedia now, early 2000s, maybe Wikipedia wasn't like reputable, and professors and everyone said, don't give me anything citing Wikipedia. But now, fast forward 2023, you know, they've gotten their stuff under control, and they're pretty reputable, actually more reliable than a lot of other sources, to be honest. When I do a lot of research, I find a lot of accurate stuff on Wikipedia that I go and I even search more because I'm like, well, I didn't read this in something else. I'm like, well, Wikipedia was actually right about that. So this will tell you right here the different types. But this right here, I read earlier. Let me make sure this is on. Yeah. That psilocybin is also similar to DMT. So I was like, wow, that is interesting, because it says right here, DMT is a functional analog and structural analog of other psychedelic tryptamines, such as this one, but then psilocybin and psilocin, which is the, you know, what psilocybin converts into. I'm like, wow, man, that's interesting. So, you know, there's DMT and these other things too. So maybe that's part of the medicine. Maybe the DMT is part of all that. Oh, wow, man, we've been going on for a while. Well, I guess it's going to be a longer episode. So that was Sapo. That was ayahuasca, the 5-MeO DMT, and then the ayahuasca DMT. But really quick, before we cut this episode, let me show you guys something about these two substances, because I went to a talk at the U of A, and I thought it was going to be about plant medicine, but they started talking about a couple other things, and I was really curious to learn about it, because at the time I was really only interested in focusing on the plants, and I didn't really want to get into anything synthetic. I wanted to be natural. But at this talk, they started telling me about their results they were receiving and the benefits of controlled dosages of MDMA and LSD. So I was like, whoa, I had no idea, because at that time I was only aware that MDMA was like Molly and ecstasy, but I didn't know that, and you know, people were just partying with it, but I didn't know that you can actually take it and get relief. So let's see what this has to say. MDA assisted therapy for severe PTSD. This is something that's actually been done. Yeah, so you can see the results right here. But let me see what their conclusion was. I haven't read this one. I'm just pulling it up right here. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about it because I heard about that. Now, I want to give you a heads up because I learned this from the doctor I work with. If you are going to be taking MDMA, you don't want to be taking it regularly. You don't want to be taking a large amount of it. It does affect your serotonin release. So, you don't want to be messing with your brain too much. But for people with really severe cases of PTSD, depression, anxiety, loss, taking a controlled dose really does help out. People dealing with anything, and then you could take smaller dosages. It's not really made to microdose regularly, but taking small dosages here and there, these doctors say it helped out. So like I said, this isn't me saying this. I'm advocating for it, but I'm just relaying the message of what these doctors actually said. So, you could read it right here. We may soon be confronted with the potential enormous economic and social repercussions of PTSD exacerbated by COVID-19. So many people are already going through all this that MDMA is already showing promising results for people. So, I'm not going to get into this whole study. This doctor was telling all of us, so that's why I wanted to bring it up. And the other one they talked about was LSD. Now, LSD, definitely have to respect that. I'm not promoting that at all. Actually, let me see. So, yeah, you can see down here. Man, I keep doing that. My bad, guys. I get all excited with this. But yeah, you can see right here the study that I was showing you. And MDMA assisted therapy for PTSD, double-blind placebo control. So you can read this right here. And I'll put the links on YouTube. But that shows you right there. And then LSD. Like I said, I'm not fully advocating for these. I just want to share information I learned about them because I have heard that LSD can help with healing in different ways as well. Can help even with chronic pain relief, especially if the pain has been gone and psychologically you still are feeling something, maybe a connection to it or a dependency on it, something, and you think that the pain is still there because of the other dependency. LSD can definitely, with controlled dosages, help with that. So I've seen that already, and I've seen those studies. I just wanted to bring that up. These are all highly illegal. They're not like mushrooms where it's legal here, but there are places around the world that actually are letting you use these medicines. So you don't have to take the risk in your hometown. You can actually travel somewhere and use it legally. The same thing with the ayahuasca. Nationally, it's not really legal. You may find some churches and states that have certain approval to do certain things, but for the most part, you may have to travel to another country to try some of this. If you do that, do your research and make sure that you know where you're going. Read some reviews. Just don't go trust anybody that says that they're a shaman. I was always told that the plants are the shaman. So, the people are just the guides and the teachers and help people find the plants. But the plants are the actual shamans and the plants are the ones doing the healing. So, I hope you guys are able to find some relief with these. I'll get more into details with some of them as we progress in this series. Like I said, there's another one I didn't talk too much about, but I want to bring it up right here. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'll find it. Now, I've never personally been exposed to this or known anyone that has used it, but I've seen the studies about ibogaine and how it can actually help people with substance abuse issues, especially alcoholism. So ibogaine, IBOGAINE. You can look that up. It's a plant as well. But like I said, I'm not familiar with it and the use. I just have friends that have shown me some of these plants, and I've researched them to learn. I don't necessarily get called to some of these medicines because I'm going through different journeys than some other people. But there are things out there that can help anyone in any situation if the mind is not fully cooperating with you and your meditation is not helping. There's other tools out there. So I just want you guys to know that we don't have to be dependent on pharmaceuticals. I've seen loved ones get really, really, just can't find the right word, but they've been affected negatively by pharmaceutical medication, antidepressants, pain medications, different types of things. And it's really affected their mind and their ability to cope and love unconditionally, because they're so disoriented and delusional. They don't even know what's going on. And it's all been caused by the synthetic medication, not by anything else other than the doctors jumping quick to putting them on something rather than trying to find natural relief. And, I don't blame the doctor. I don't even blame the system. Oh, actually, I blame the system. I don't blame the pharmacist. It's the system, man. It's the system. Like, there's something else pushing all this, and they're preventing me from talking about this kind of plant medicine. They're preventing us from having access to certain plant medicine. They're preventing us from promoting this. So, there's a lot of power in nature. And when we find that out and we find out nature's free, then it really tears everything apart. So I'm going to leave you all with that. I love you all. Thanks for joining Tuesday Night Smoke Sesh round 9. I'm going to go ahead and do my pluggy plug, and I will see you guys next week.
Assist your pain, anxiety, and depression naturally.
At Natural Healing Care Center, we're here to guide you on your path to wellness.
We'll help you find natural relief through practices like meditation, yoga, medical cannabis certifications, CBD products, and more. Our premium custom rubs and tinctures are crafted from all natural, organic, full-spectrum ingredients. Check our website for more information on our products, services, and our fun in-person events.